Good evening. It's 7 o'clock on a Monday night, and we're here for mental mind treatments. For those of you that are looking to put a message in, you'll see I ended up retracting twice because for some reasons my fingers did not want to type correctly. Trying to just hurry, I guess. But anyway, so I welcome whoever shows up. I trust otherwise we don't have a show because this is one we definitely need people for. And I'm just organizing myself here a little bit more. It's been a funny day today for me. And hi, welcome to people. Great. Thank you for coming. Oh, sorry. It's like had something happen. I had a client and get supper, get ready to get here. It's called life. That's what happens, and that's what we do. I usually am a little bit more organized than this, to be honest, but I'll manage anyway. And I welcome whoever comes because mental mind treatments is one of my favorite shows in lots of ways because we get to do it, we get to do what's practical, not just philosophy or thought or whatever else. Let me put that there. I think that'll make more room for me. Hi, Marie. How are you? I haven't seen you for a wee while here, and I miss talking to you. Karen Lee, I got your message, and I'll be ready to go ahead with that. Marion, good evening, and I'm presuming she's going to be on her bowl, which really helps me do the treatments because it gives a little bit more emphasis. And Kayla says hi, many blesses. Pleased to continue healing. Okay, I'll just write that in my book as well. I'm going to start off tonight. Sorry about this. I hate this when this happens. Throat can decide to clog up on me. We'll just say that the people who work with me are clearing the channel there. How does that sound? It's just that I had a whole lot of what do you call that? Anyway, stuff you up for supper. So Karen Lee emailed me, and I have created some numbers for her son Zachary. And Karen Lee, I really appreciate that extra little bit of information because that kind of clarified quite a lot for me at the time. I'm just going to alter this a bit here. So this is for Karen Lee's son, who's Zachary. And I put the numbers 13, 7, and 12. And the fact is, it seems as though there's changes happening in his life, and he's having to leave what's been established behind. And the reality is about having to accept changes that have gone on. So we're going to start with the treatment for Zachary. I know there is one power and I know there is one essence, and I speak my word for Zachary. As I speak for my word for Zachary, I know that changes in structure, changes in things that one does, changes in the life can sometimes upset the equilibrium. It can upset how we handle things, especially if we're a person that likes order and knows where we are or where we are. When changes happen, though, what we need to do is let go of what has gone on before. It's like put it to rest and accept the newness. Because until we have accepted the newness, we are unable to adjust because we're always looking backward. And if we look backwards, we're not going anywhere where we need to go. The past is done. As things were, they're done. Now we can move forward by accepting what is and begin to enjoy the moment, begin to enjoy all that is there for us as we move forward. Life is a series of change. change through all the different things that we have to go through. And very often, letting go of what was to make adjustments for the change can bring about a sense of depression, uncertainty, frustration, even anger, because life as we know it is no more. And so, in this knowingness, I know that Zachary's connection to the greater power through acceptance of what is and in enjoying those things that are offered now and off into the future will make a huge, huge difference. And I give thanks for this. I give thanks in the knowing that the adjustment of change will and is taking place. So there is joy, pleasure, and excitement of that change as it moves forward. And we let go of the past because the past is gone. The past is no more. I give thanks in knowing that Zachary is filled with the light of love, that is filled with the knowingness that life is an adventure and begins to look for the adventure as it occurs. And so I release this thought knowing that it is true and that it is done. Life moves on with ease, grace, excitement, and joy. And so it is. Amen. Okay, so I'm just going to go down here a little bit. Okay, Kayla. So we want continued healing. And what I'm getting today is on many levels. It's not just one level, it's on many levels. It's adjustments too. I think it's relating a little bit to what we had before. And I get 21, 13, and 6. The numbers that came out of the air, 21, 13, and 6, basically shows the balance. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, the balance that we need in our life. And life is all about balance often. Excuse me for my glasses. They're still wobbly. I've got to take them back in and get them tightened or something again. New glasses, but they certainly are annoying for me. 21 is the world where everything is balanced. And when we have things happen in our lives and we're moving from what we know to change, there is a journey that sometimes goes on that takes longer than we would like. It stretches out before us as we go through change, as we go through all the different essence. It's almost like, talk about frustration city. And in the transformation of this journey that takes too long and seems to never end, comes confusion and uncertainty, because we're again beginning to wonder, is it ever going to end? Is it going to come to a place, etc.? So the treatment tonight really is about in a way accepting it, but also recognize the whole thing is a journey. The whole thing from beginning to end is a journey of where we're heading as we're healing, as we're learning, as we're growing. And it's more of a peaceful growth, I believe, because when we get confused, because it's like, how long is this going to last? I've got to go for this treatment, that treatment, or whatever you got to do, you got to do it. So there is one power, one essence, and I speak my word for Kayla. As I speak my word for Kayla, I feel at times it's almost like a frustration in the sense, and I get the word should. I should be better, or I should be more along the path, or I should. And I'm just going to say, let's X the should out. There never is a real understanding on the time a journey of healing takes. When we start to heal, when we start to adjust to changes and differences, that we let go of the confusion of ideas and maybe a little bit of self-beating because we think we should have it more organized and have it together. I know that there is love around you. I know that there is growth within you. I know that the healing that seems to take a while to accumulate and become manifested is happening, even if it is slower than what you desire and want. I give thanks in knowing that you're out on the path. I give thanks in knowing that there is an ending on with it. Let go of confusion. The confusion of wondering when, how, etc., is only going to complicate it. I give thanks in knowing that the light of love, the light of understanding, the light of being is there for you and every step of the way. And the healing does continue as it deepens and becomes more effective. And for this knowingness, I say thank you, thank you, thank you as we release it, because it is done. Okay, I think I'm right there. So Karen, greetings. I would love a treatment to appreciate my self-worth more. Somehow now I don't go back and look, but that feels like we've done something similar lately. 21, 22, and 16. Okay, I have a little chuckle because number 16, everything is, 21, balance, 12, faith, 16. 16 is when something comes from the outside and kind of literally throws everything into chaos of some kind, personal or event. What I sense here is that your appreciation of your self-worth is kind of like a habit. In fact, it's very similar to a consultation I had earlier today. Letting go of habits that we have of responding regarding our self-worth and our self-understanding and even our self-enlightenment is really about letting go of the fear of what may happen. Sometimes we have fears that come because of our life's experiences, and they're within our beingness that we have a deep-seated fear that it will occur again. Or somebody says something that triggers what went on and has happened. And in the triggering, we forget the balance and we forget the faith of moving on. So this is about, I think, completely and 100%. Okay, let's see what the treatment brings forth. I know as I speak my word for Karen that there is a connection to the love force, that there is a connection to that one sense and essence that is in all of us and all around of us. I also know that very often as we move deeper into that love force, our idiosyncrasies, our fears, our judgments, and many things like that are brought to the surface, I should say, the surface. And our self-worth we begin to doubt the value that we have. And so consequently, this is about looking fear in the face. This is about looking at life and saying, I'm more. I am a product of the divine love. The divine love has my back. It brings to me what I want. And a lot of that has to do with what you think about your worth and where you're heading and where you're going and what you're doing. Life is there for the taking. When you grow, there is a knowingness that you have come from. Let's my hand's out of the thing here. Okay, I'll go this way. When you're where you start, and then you grow until finally you kind of move beyond that. Now, how do you catch up to that? How do you catch up to the growth that you've actually done? And that is your mental attitude as to how you feel about yourself. Even though it's mental, the emotions are always there. So we need a balance between the mental and the emotional. So it's like having a picture of how we choose to be. It's not about wanting to be, it's more about choosing to be. And then we support ourselves in that. And if we trip, and if we have things that don't quite work out the way we want, we pick ourselves up, we dust ourselves off, and we go on again. Life will bring to you all that you need and require. But I feel, especially as I had a consultation earlier today that's very, very similar, is that you've got to watch how your mental element works. Are you asking for what you want? Are you clear on the end result you want? And even though we know as life proceeds on, things change. You can want something and it may come into being, it may not, might go somewhere else. So we need a degree of flexibility and not see everything as wrong or a disaster, because it isn't. You have the basic awareness of growth and progress, and knowing that that power, whatever you want to call it, and as you know, I call it the love source, is always there. It's us that separate ourselves. I do it myself still sometimes, even though I know it's there. Somehow you get off on a little tangent that your mind will bring in. It's old habits. Look at your habits, Karen. Look at your mental habits and know. So within that framework of the mental mind treatment, strength, power, and lovingness to come forward. So the mental habits that are like weeds in the garden. They love to come up and in a way destroy everything. We clear them. We give them over. We let the light take them and just fuzzle them away. Know who you are. Remember who you are. And here we go forward. And so it is. By the way, I released that. So it is. And Marion is definitely doing the Tibetan bowl, which is always great. And Marie, my dear friend, nice to be with you here. Same thing. And your numbers are 3, 6, and 18. Oh, I think it's one of those nights. Marie. First of all, let's look at these lovely numbers. You've got 3, the Empress, love. You've got 6, lovers, confusion. You've got 18, which is the moon, which is confusion taken to a different level. Subconscious stuff. It's a subconscious night tonight. So guys, it'll be interesting to see how this continues. Maybe my client today started the whole trend. I don't know. Life is such a wonderful adventure. So my Ray, my love, you don't really say what you want it for, but it looks, I'm just going to go by the numbers. You understand love, you are loving, and that's what you exhibit all the time. But we have a mental mind. We have a subconscious that remembers things. And what happens is that things get skewed. We can, skewed, is that the right word? Skewed, I think. Well, mixed up. Someone can say something, and it can be something offhanded, but it will touch something that's happened many, many years ago. I'm just going to move this because it keeps reaching my hand out, and that doesn't make it any better either. Oh, well. So that's what's going to happen. I've got to watch where my hands go, I guess. So that when something happens and it triggers the subconscious, old patterning, old habits of thinking, feeling, responding, the 3 main things that we work with, what happens is we may not realize, but the subconscious blows them up as though this is the reality, this is the truth, this is what it's all about. And the fact is that is not absolutely true at all. That's not true. But we need to understand what's real, what's imaginary, what comes from our subconscious, and what doesn't, so that we can actually get hold of our mental elements again and bring them back in line, especially with both 6 and the 18 together here. So let's see what the treatment brings, because often that brings in a new idea or a new concept. There is one power, and I know this power is with Marie wherever she goes. She exhibits it. It shows in all the years I've known her. It shows, and it just beams from her. But life can take its task. And so as we move into the light and the lovingness that's there, I know that sometimes it's a matter of just accepting that we have to take a breath. We have to reconnect and recognize falseness. Recognize the falseness that is not part of us anymore, or that we maybe don't want anymore. And in recognizing this, the lovingness that we have, not only in our hearts, but walks with us with every step that we take. And in everything that we do, we let everything else drift away and we concentrate on that. There is one power, and there is one love, and there is one essence. And everything else is often an illusion. We overreact. We make more of a statement than is done or said. And so it's like coming back to center and knowing I am loved by the divine no matter what. No matter what. And as an aside, what I'd like to add to that before I close off, many times I have to ask for forgiveness because I got caught up in the mental claptrap of life. I respond perhaps not as effectively as I want to, etc. But the divine is only loving and accepting of you in your fullest way. There's no judgment in love, no judgment at all. There is only acceptance, lovingness, and therefore understanding. I give thanks in knowing that Marie is moving beyond the conditions of life and becoming the most wonderful self that she is. Anyway, naturally. And we release this by saying, and so it is. Karen Lee says, thank you. Oops, silly thing. I've got something coming up here. Yvonne, good evening and blessings to all. So, what have we got for you, my dear? 5, 13, and 18. What's going on here? You know, it's interesting when some people that come on the show I know or have met or done work for, so I understand. Some people are just totally never seen, heard from them before. But all are welcome, believe me. Now, number 5 is the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant has 2 parts to that particular symbol. And that is, you might say, the priest, the minister, the person of knowledge that imparts. But there's also 2 prelates in there, 2 beings who are learning from that. But I'm with here, it's like you have understanding and knowledge and awareness, and life is changing. 13 is the death symbol. The death symbol is this: man on a horse in a desert, but behind and walking through a ground that's a war zone. 2 mountains and a sun in transition. Transitions aren't always easy. Transitions, one is to accept in so many ways. But in that transitional time, it's given us the word time, T-I-M-E. We need time. We need time to heal. We need time to understand. We need time to plan. My concern here is this number 18. You and Marie, who knows what's going on there? Number 18 is our emotions in control. It's our fears, our anxieties, or however we respond in an emotional way. So instead of having our sights on the end result of this journey that you're on, which is 13, transitioning into newness, We have fear and anxiety, and every little subconscious, oh, what would you call it? Anxiety, fear, belief, or whatever is down there is going to come up and kind of snap at your heels. So how do we work with that? First of all, your number 5 is the key. You have knowledge, you have awareness, you have a sense of being. You can take what you know and utilize that. So I'm going to go into treatment and we'll see what the divine brings through. Knowing that there is one power and one essence for all of us on this planet, I can speak my word for Yvonne. And as I speak my word for Yvonne, I know that in transition, there is always just keeping your eye on the prize and step by step, not worrying about what else is around, not being concerned about what else is happening. You keep the eye on where you're going. When we go through a desert, it's by step by step by step. Now, there's a horse in the 13, so you actually ride it. You don't have to walk it, but it's like walking it because the horse is walking. It's not galloping. There is a journey. There is a time in here. The second one, I'm talking about time. Time, in so many ways, has, what should I say? Has a significant bearing. And time sometimes just has to be accepted and loved and brought forth in the knowingness that at the end of the time zone, you will be in a different way. Now, in accordance to time, I'm once more seeing if this works better. I'm moving my computer back. So I've got more room here for this arm because it's all backwards anyway. So time. I can't add in my head when I'm being psychic. It's impossible for me to do that. But I could just about, let me see, it seems significant to do that. So T is 20, which is a 2, 9, M is a 4, and E is a 5. So that's 11. So that makes 11, which is a 2. 4 and 5 is 9. So it's a 2. 2 is the high priestess, so you have choice. You can choose to be sad, upset, worried. Worry is a big thing here. Or you can choose to say, okay, I'm making the choice to move through this time because new things are opening up and new things are going to be coming. I give thanks on the knowing that Yvonne is transitioning into new understanding, new awarenesses, and is able to accept the time that it will take to get her to where she needs to be. And I release this thought, knowing it is true that love is all around, and we just have to breathe it in and be, just to be. And so it is. Amen. Okay. Karen B. Please may I have a treatment for more creativity? Just a sec, got it right. Creativity. And the numbers are, bless your hearts, 13 and 21. So we got another 13 coming up here, one after. Gosh, tonight is interesting. We seem to have numbers following a lot. That's great. Okay. We're all on the same path. If you listened to my Wednesday talk last week, and I was reading for October, I just said, oh my goodness, because nothing's flowing here. And if you know me at all, I like flow. I like things to flow and move. But anyway, this kind of reminds me of this. It's like we've got a little bit of this and a little bit of that, a little bit of potpourri going on here. Anyway, Karen B, my dear. Number 8 shows you have the strength to handle it, that the energy from above is with you. And you are in transition with 13 because we're back to the death symbol, but the 21 is balanced. So what we're seeing here, Karen, creativity, I think you just need to use it. You need to see it. However, creativity to me, there's many kinds. I might not be able to paint well, but I can speak well sometimes anyway. And so it's like understanding that balance, that you have strengths and purpose and awareness, and that you can utilize it. And again, the word time comes up for me as you rebalance everything. So this is about you trusting the process, that things are not held overnight, that things are not like, I want this, I'll go to bed and I get up and there it is. It is a process. It is an understanding, it's an accepting, and it's an awareness of knowing that when things are in balance, they'll occur because the doorway's open then. They don't usually open when things are not in balance. Being in balance, I haven't really talked about that much, but I will right now, is that when you're in balance, the doors open magically. So that becomes very important. So let's have a look, Karen B, in the treatment. Knowing there is one power in one essence, I speak my word for Karen B. And as I speak my word for Karen B, I know that her growth forward comes from balancing emotions and mental works that come together. And in that balance, as she recognized the growth and the progression that is happening, it's like daisies, all flower. I can just see the path with daisies everywhere. And they're just, doesn't matter what step you're on, they're flowering. So your pathway that you're creating, the pathway that you are wanting, that you are moving into it, that it is there for you, and that you can move forward with love and understanding because you're balancing your world. You're balancing what's in your mind. You're balancing what's in the essence of you. And for that, I give thanks. And as I release this thought and energy to Karen B, I know that there is one power and there is one essence that is there for you. You just need to be relaxed in it. And you know that you're in transition. And the transition often is what people have the hardest time with. But it's just time. And it's all on yourself and all on your side. Decide to walk it, be it, and know it, and it'll be great. I give thanks for that by releasing, by saying, and so it is. So it is. Kayla says, thank you for my words. Soothing, I'm grateful for you and your gifts, which you offer us all. Bless your heart. Thank you. Karen Max, so helpful. I will take your guidance. Thank you. Thank you. Murray says, thank you so much, Norma. Always illuminating my path forward. We have been on a path for years, the two of us. I learned so long time ago. So grateful for your loving insights. Onward and upwards for sure. Yvonne says, great. Thank you very much. Leroy went to put something in. I'm just looking at the time. Yeah, that's about right. And he took them both out. Anyway, Leroy, I know I said I was going to mail something to you, or no, I wrote to you to say if you want, I would be quite willing to mail you something, but I would need your address to do that. Number one. Number two, just be you. Just be you. Sometimes we just need to accept that who we are and what we are, it is. It said, he's funny, put in again. It's been a difficult year for me and my husband. So 12, 4, and 6. We'll send your address. Yeah, I've been a little bit tied up because of this little surgery I had on my arm, which has upset my elbow, which has upset all sorts of things. So, but I'm getting there. I'm evading by reading novels a lot of the time and trying to get other things organized in my head. Okay, Leroy, what numbers have we got here for you? 12, which is acceptance. 4, which is experience. It's the Emperor, which is a procrastinator. And it's experience, and you're procrastinating because of experience. And then 6, which is lovers, which is confusion. So I'm going to stick with the 12, acceptance. Okay, Yeah, I won't. I'm doing really well, actually, Leroy. Lots of good things are happening. Um, First of all, let's talk about a lot of the things that are happening in our world right now. And if you're sensitive, as Leroy, you know you are, and you haven't got your aura compacted, if you haven't got it close to you, and I always say in just about everything I've put out there, is that your aura shouldn't be any more than 3 feet unless you're maybe talking to a big crowd of people or something. It shouldn't be way out there because you pick up and you're sensitive enough to pick up lots of things. So the key here is to accept you, maybe limitations as well, and not get stubborn and said about or beat yourself up about it, because that's what creates confusion, is when we limit ourselves. We think we should be this way or that way when in fact we're like this. So it's really important, I think, Leroy, for you to accept your abilities, accept who you are. And with you and your husband, is that communication is going to be important, because what with the 4, very often we shut down and we don't really communicate, and that creates more confusion. But when we look at acceptance and we're in a relationship, we have to accept them, as they have to accept you as you. And it's called the meetings of the mind. But let's see what a treatment brings us, okay? But the key is acceptance here, and not getting stuck on things that you can't change or aren't going to be changeable or whatever. Okay, I know there is one power and there's one essence, and in that essence I speak my word for Leroy, and knowing that within my heart, in my heart seed of being in my heart, there is so much I have to give, and to not look for what happens when I give, that I just give and allow the energy to come in through me and out of me. As I mentioned earlier about the aura only being fairly close, that's something I feel very strongly about, is that we don't make assessments and judgments, but know that everything is in its right place and working at the right time. Sometimes we just have to let go and not try to figure everything out. Just not try and figure everything out. We can't. We're not way up here looking down and seeing everything. We have an energy around us. We have a heart connection. We have an essence. So as I speak my word for you, I know it's about getting in touch with the essence of you, without expectation, without a sense that it should be this way. No shoulds anymore. Shoulds got to or to need to be out of the language, mentally or verbally. So there is an ease and a beautiful knowingness. But the key to look at is the Hanged Man, acceptance of what is. Because until you accept 100%, you cannot change anything, because you're stuck in having to accept. I give thanks in knowing that Leroy will be able to accept what is happening, where he is, where he's going, and the light of love will move through his heart and move out, and everything will be known really easily for him. With blessings and with love, I say, and so it is. And so it is. Okay. Karen B., thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'm glad I'm appreciated. Christine, hello, my dear. You finally made it into the board. She says, good evening, all. Christine has got 2, 9, and 22. Without knowing what that's all about, let's have a look at the numbers. 2 is decision, choice, and moving forward. 9 says, I'm still going to have a drink of water. 9 says the answer lies within you, and 22 says move forward with faith. So I would take from that there's a decision you're needing to make, or a choice, or it could be just a spiritual choice of moving deeper and moving more into understanding. And yeah, so let me see. I'll couple it with treatment so we've got a good idea of where we're heading here. Knowing there is one power in the one essence, and knowing that Christine is connected to that power in essence, there is the element of growth and exploration, of awareness of her own emotionality, her own goals, and awarenesses of direction. And the realization that the answer lies within her. And by having faith within herself, sincerely and totally, that you can move forward and create miracles. That there is an adventure awaiting, but it's based on that choice. Do we choose to stay stuck where we are, or do we choose to move forward? Do we choose to listen to our own inner heart and our own inner being and create and go forward and know that it's all the way it always is? I give thanks in the knowingness for Christine, that it's kind of like having everything at your fingertips, but you got to, when it's like when you're going to bake or when you're going to make something, you've got all the ingredients, but now you got to put it all together. And that's your choice. Do you move forward listening to you, listening to what you know and how you feel and where it goes, and then go forward in your life based on faith that this power that I talk about is there. It has your back, always has your back. I was just talking to somebody about that in the last couple of days, even today, I think, too. The universe has your back. I work a lot at times in the clearing work I do with the shadow self, and the shadow self is your back, because the law of love, the lovingness of the divine, whatever you want to call it, has your back at all times. And the key is to trust that. And you have the faith to move ahead, to create, and to be, and to do. And I give thanks in the knowing this by saying, and so it is. Amen. So it is. Okay. Leroy says, thank you. You are always accurate. Much love to you. Trustingly, I'm accurate, hopefully, than everything else. Well, we did good tonight. So I trust that you have a good week. And some of the things I say for one person can be Thank you, Christine. That can also be relatable to someone else. That's why if it's possible to get here at 7 and hear the journey, and look how many times the same number comes up. We've dealt a lot with 12. We've done a lot, I think, with 6s and with, and 18 in particular. So you see that it's interesting, the similarities of what's going on. And as I mentioned earlier from last Wednesday, this month does not flow smooth at all, according to me. It's jarry. It's one thing and another. I think that's why I've gone and spent time taking care of my elbow and reading novels. Just dealing with what I deal with as I go along in my day, what I have to deal with. I want to thank you very much. I will be back, of course, on Wednesday morning with Norma Talks. Don't know what I'm talking about yet, but who knows? Something will come up. And then again, my Sunday thought. Oh, if you listen to my Sunday thought, I kind of feel like I have to apologize for my Sunday thought. I haven't re-listened to it, but it felt to me I got kind of lost because I was doing a movie review. And I was talking about kindness, and then I started talking about how I just killed a spider, which was true. But anyway, that's what happens sometimes when you stream things. It's like you're streaming, and then it's like a thought comes in, and away you go. So, but kindness. I really wanted to mention that, and someone actually sent me a note on it that was brilliant that I haven't written down, but it's very, very nice. And it's a very important thing to take a look. Are you being kind? To yourself. Are you being kind to you? Or are you using your mind and beating yourself up? Are you being kind to others as much as you can? Sometimes people ask you to do things for them that you can't do, and that's the way it is. It's a reality. But can you, if you can, you do that. If you can be kind, if you can be kind to people around, or a smile even. Sometimes when you walk down the street, just give a smile. It can lighten up a whole person's day. So just continuing on Sunday where I got lost in my talk. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. I thank you all for hanging in there and supporting me on Monday nights. Lots of love, lots of joy, lots of pleasure. And as we saw, balance, going ahead, doing what you got to do. Bless you. Bye now.